today is on the record and the contents of the call are attributable to the individual speaking. We're going to now open it up for questions. So I ask you again to press *1 if you would like to ask questions. Once again, that is *1 on your phone to ask a question. We're going to give it a few seconds for the questions to queue, and then we'll take our first question. All right, now first, Twin Grove of Bloomberg.
Hi, Tim. Thank you for doing the call. Can we just focus in on the oil thing for a bit? Can you specify what you think Biden's position is there and what you made of his remark?
I think it's pretty obvious what Joe Biden's position on oil, fossil fuels generally, and fracking. I think that when he is talking to environmental extremists and environmental activists, he tells them the truth, that it is his plan, as he says, to transition away, read that to mean end, the use of fossil fuels and fracking generally. But then he realizes and has to catch himself when he's speaking to a different audience, such as in Pennsylvania, that's not in fact what he meant. But when you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez writing your climate change policy, it is impossible to campaign in places such as Pennsylvania and try to be both things at once. You cannot be Joe from Scranton, who cares about American workers' jobs, people who work in the fracking industry, and have AOC writing your climate change policy at the same time. The two things are incongruous. He has had and did have to say during the Democrat primaries that he would phase out and end fossil fuels. And he let it slip again tonight. And as you noticed, President Trump did not let him get away with it. And he said, I hope that you're paying attention in Texas, and I hope that you're paying attention in Pennsylvania, because Joe Biden, once again, accidentally told the truth tonight. He is an opponent, an enemy of the fossil fuel industries and the millions and millions of Americans who work in those industries. In Pennsylvania, as one example, 600,000 people work in the fracking industries, and tonight they heard that Joe Biden is coming for their jobs.
All right, we do have time for one more question. This one is coming from Willie James Inman of Newsbeat.
Hey there, thanks so much for doing the call. I just wanted to follow up on when the president was talking about his response to what he's done for the Black community, talking about HBCUs, of course, opportunity zones. He was answering the question when he referred to the talk, but I just want to get to the substance of the question. Is the president, has he talked to folks about the talk specifically, and just give me a little bit more there, because he seems to talk about what he's done for the Black community, but didn't really directly answer the question about what you say to those families of color when you have to talk to their young kids about the talks specifically.
Well, I think the president has addressed that many times, and with regard to, say, policing and community policing, the president understands that there are Black Americans who have different experiences with law enforcement than other Americans do, and he understands that, and that's why he has taken steps to reform police. He signed executive orders to that effect, offering incentive grants for police departments who get certified and receive certain training, and that's why he has supported, the White House supports Senator Tim Scott's bill for police reform. But the president also clearly made the case that the best thing that can be done for all Americans is to provide increased economic opportunities. And that's why he is very proud of his record of the lowest Black unemployment rate in history, historic funding for historically Black colleges and universities, more than any prior president. School choice is something that the president is very proud of, promoting school choice, something that Joe Biden opposes because the teachers' labor unions will not let him support school choice. And finally, criminal justice reform, reuniting families and giving people a second chance at life. The president is very proud of his record as it relates to the black community, and that's why you see that there is increased inroads being made by the president among black voters. And I think all you have to do is look at the way Joe Biden is behaving in his campaign to understand that all of that is true. Joe Biden is spending millions of dollars advertising on television and the radio, trying to attract support from black voters. That is something that Democrat candidates for president in a general election never, ever have to do. But Joe Biden realizes that the president's record for black Americans is very, very strong. And that's why he's having to spend his resources trying to attract black voters, because they know that the president's record is better than his. What most people can remember from this campaign, as far as Joe Biden goes and black voters, is that he very, very seriously takes their votes for granted. And we all remember that he told Charlemagne the God on his radio show that if you are a black voter and you don't support Joe Biden, then in his mind, you ain't black. That's exactly the message the black voters hear from Joe Biden. And once again, the president is right. Joe Biden is a Washington politician who is all talk and no action, and it's President Trump who has the record that should appeal to black voters.
Thank you, Tim, and thank you all for joining us on this call. Great win for the president tonight, and we hope to see you on the trail during the final stretch. Have a good one.
Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect.